This episode of Rookie Hunter is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Become a member and join the Lesson 1 Club at wildsheepfoundation.org. Hey guys, it's been a hot minute. We're back and happy to be here. Hope everybody's staying healthy and safe out there. Given the state of things in the world right now, Kelly and I set up our own little home studios here and recorded through FaceTime. So it was nice to see each other, nice to start making some plans for the hunting season. And we'll cover some of the details on why it's been so long since we've put up a proper podcast. So hope you guys enjoy this one. If you want more of my voice, which I don't know why you would, but I was on Beyond the Kill last week. You can check that episode out too if you want. We were talking about sheep hunting. And with sheep in mind, head over to the wildsheepfoundation.org and become a member. Sign up for the Lesson 1 Club and the annual convention. That'll be happening next year, 2021. So you can start thinking about that if you want to make plans for getting out of your house next year. Our full lineup of Sitka gear can be seen on our website, therookihunter.com. Click on the gear tab. And of course, get yourself a blade from North Arm Knives. Head over to northarmknives.com. I just picked up a whetstone and got all mine sharpened up and ready to rock and roll, my kitchen knives and my hunting blades. So hit those guys up. Those blades will last forever if you take care of them. northarmknives.com. Let's jump into this one, guys. It's been long enough. Sit back, relax, crack a cold beer, and enjoy episode 124 of Rookie Hunter. Kelly Molnar.
What's going on?
I haven't seen you since Vancouver.
Well, it feels like a long time ago, but it actually, it wasn't. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy times.
It is weird times, man. So for those of you listening, I'm in my garage recording. Cal, you're in your office there at home.
Yep.
So we're far, far away, keeping our distance.
I saw you yesterday, dropped off the Hillebergs.
But we traded you for a microphone.
Yeah. You stayed on one side of the driveway. I stayed on the other.
So weird, man.
Yeah.
What are you drinking there?
I've got some Coors Light.
Oh, nice. Legit Coors Light in a Coors Light mason jar?
Legit. It's actually Coors Banquet. So I should clarify. Nice. But if you look, it's actually a Coors Banquet glass.
Nice. Look at you.
Yeah. I don't mind a Coors Banquet every once in a while.
I like those, man, especially when we're out hunting. Get a big old case of Coors Banquet and throw those in the wall tent.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Little macro COVID. It's hard to get micro these days.
Nice. Well, I don't know. So we did the live podcast in Vancouver, which was a lot of fun. I don't even remember what we talked about the last time we actually did a podcast in the studio. So I don't know if people know what we've been up to or where I was or any of that stuff. So
it's been a while. We've been getting a lot of messages on Instagram saying like, are you guys okay? Or what's the deal?
Mike died.
So, yeah. So, I was kind of just keeping up on that. Just, everything's good. We just had some priorities and then with this COVID thing, it's just one thing on top of the other.
Yeah, exactly. So I think people know that I've been traveling. I didn't say too much about the project I was working on, but I was doing a travel show for it's a Canadian travel show. So I went to every province and territory over the last 6 months, which made it pretty hard for us to get together because I went to South America and to Asia too, in between all that stuff. So that's the reason why we haven't really been doing any podcasting. And yeah, I don't know. Had a good time out there, but definitely miss doing this on a regular schedule. And you and I have been talking about switching things up a little bit. Still don't know what
Hmm.
that looks like, but we're thinking what we're gonna do from this point on is do 2 a month, and be working on something in the background a little bit so we can have some fun and do something a little bit different. It's hard to do the 4 a month kind of thing. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I got to ask though, with your last project, what was your favorite destination?
oh man, it's a hard one. And one of the coolest things was going. We took the train from Winnipeg all the way up to Churchill, and the whole reason for doing that trip was to go and see polar bears in Churchill. And we actually saw, I think I saw 7 bears or something like that, which
Nice.
was pretty cool, man. Because people had gone out in previous days, and there was bad weather in that, so people weren't seeing them. And the ice had also come early, so usually around that time of year, the ice hasn't formed yet, so the bears are kind of hanging around the shore, and it's like almost guaranteed to see them. Right, they're just like waiting basically for the ice so they can go out and start feeding. Because summertime is sort of opposite of what like black bears and brown bears are doing. Right,
Hmm.
they're not eating much in the summer, and they're gearing up to get out there and start eating seals and that. So, anyways, we were super lucky to see them, and I don't know, it's kind of like one of those bucket list things to see polar bears, and the fact that they're in Canada is kind of a trippy thing too. You know what I mean? These massive,
Yeah.
huge predators, they exist right here, so it kind of puts it in
Hmm.
perspective when you get to see them. Another cool thing was we were in Old Crow in the Yukon, which is in the Arctic Circle. It's the further most northern community, I think, in the Yukon, way the hell up there, and saw caribou. It was the porcupine herd, so that's the first time finally got to see some caribou, which was super rad, man. And
Awesome.
was out with our guide was a First Nations fella from up there, and it was super cool just to hear about all the hunting practices and stuff they do, and how much they use the animal, and I don't know, just very cool stuff, man. We could do a whole podcast on that. I'd love to actually go up there and do a podcast with them, man. Would be pretty wild. So
Yeah, that'd be unreal.
yeah. And then the other cool destination was being up in Nunavut, in Iqaluit. It's just like another planet, basically, man.
Yeah.
So pretty wild. Pretty lucky that I
Awesome.
got to do that project. And but yeah, nice to be back and finish just in time, really, because I think it was only like a week and a half, 2 weeks after that, then things kind of got real here with this coronavirus, and
Hmm.
we wouldn't have been able to travel anymore. So finished right in time and didn't get sick or anything. So
Yeah, good timing, that's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
And we did sneak in. We went to a local tapas like bar type place in Kelowna here,
right.
down at Micro, and we snuck in an evening of food, and I got to catch up on some of those stories.
Yeah,
So but that was maybe another week later, this thing kind of blew up. So
yeah,
we'll have to put that on a back burner when all
yeah,
this is over and do it again.
yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, don't know when that will be, but in the meantime, it gives us some time to get caught up on podcasts and
Yeah,
that. So yeah, where do you want to start, man?
I don't know. I mean, what have you've been pretty active through this so far, it sounds like. You got the Hilleberg tent, so you're gonna go camping or something
Yeah,
like
at
that?
some point, man. I went up and checked out an area. You know the area. We've done some bear hunting up there. I was kind of curious to go see what things were looking like
Yep.
in that spot there, so that maybe go set up camp in the same spot you and I did there,
Hmm.
and get away for a little bit. The neat thing is, man, I don't like the skies are so clear right now. They've stopped burning in Kelowna, and I think
Yep.
like the reduction in air traffic, and it's so quiet outside. It's unbelievable. It's pretty wild. So there's some
Good.
positives with this, and it would be pretty cool to get out there and camp and enjoy these clear skies and all the quiet. So
Yep. Social distancing.
yeah,
The other thing I was thinking about was maybe getting out in the boat and doing some fishing.
yeah, nice.
I mean, if you could find a boat launch that isn't busy, keep some space. I imagine once you're out on the lake, it's safe place to be.
Absolutely. Probably no better place to be. Either out in the bush
Yeah.
or out in a boat somewhere would be the way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Got to keep your
I got
sanity.
to put the 25 horse. I found a used Yamaha 25 horsepower 4-stroke that I put on that 14er.
Tell that story because
Um,
that's kind of cool.
yeah, so I bought this WC 14 Lund last year from an old guy named Herman. And
Hold on.
I knew.
Herman, it's got to be good if the guy's name's Herman, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as soon as I saw the boat itself, I knew it was. I mean, we've been looking for a boat like that with a high transom,
Yeah.
just to kind of something a little bigger for the bigger lake. And saw this boat come up, and an old guy named Herman, and I thought, he probably didn't use it much, and turns out he used it about 1 or 2 times. So I bought the boat last year, and then tried to swing the motor too, but it just didn't happen. Like, this was right when James, we were mid James and all these things. So took the boat, was happy with that. And then I was kicking myself for so long because he was going to give me a pretty good deal on that motor. And then a year later, I see the motor in a consignment in West Kelowna there.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I bet you that's Herman's motor. So I phoned him and they said, yeah, it's on consignment. If you want the bill of sale, we'll just, work directly through them. And it ended up working out. So the motor's back on the boat. It was meant to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does he know, he does know that you ended up with both, right? Or with both?
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, sweet. That's
so yeah,
awesome.
it was a pretty cool story, and it looks good on there too. I haven't actually. I mean, that was also end of February, so I haven't actually got it out yet. But I brought it into Yamaha, and they put it on the computer, and it turned out that he had 1.6 hours on it, so brand new, basically.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, worked out. So we got some fishing to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. Do you think you'll try and get out for a bear hunt at all? Or I guess it's like beginning of April is always sort of I don't know, not the best time to go for bears. They're out there, but we've always found you kind of run into snow and some obstacles and that kind of shit. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to write it off. To be honest, I'd be more disappointing about missing the turkey season because that starts April 15th.
Right.
And I've talked to a few folks that I think I have a pretty good turkey spot in the Okanagan here that we might be able to do something. So I don't know, maybe that's something we could swing. Like, you stay 2 or 3 meters on that side and I'll stay 2 or 3 meters on this side. We'll call them in and see what happens.
It would be nice if we could get out and hunt together somehow without worrying too much about this. I'm sure it's possible, but
yeah. Well, we'll each do a 14-day quarantine and then we'll leave and we'll have nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I haven't really been going out too much because it's nice we can get some stuff delivered to the house and that for food and did a Costco run, I don't know, a week ago or something like that. But yeah, people are getting better about it, which is good, but still sketches you out. It just takes one asshole to fucking cough all over you and ruin your day.
Yeah. Well, I went to the mail the other day and some guy walked up right beside me, get his mail. So I just walked away. I said, if you can't wait 5 minutes, then I'll wait 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
no kidding.
What's the deal here?
Should have dropped.
It's just, I should have. I just feel like, I mean, obviously it's a new concept. Like people, it feels so foreign. But it's also, I think, a selfish thing to do. Like if I walked up to somebody getting their mail, I'd feel like a dickhead. So
yeah. Well, man, even like I've been out hiking every morning, and there's not a whole lot of people where we've been going, but you run into folks, right? But I usually we'll grab the dog and we'll get well off to the side of the trail, give them lots of distance. It feels like a weird thing to do, but fuck, man, it's what it is, right? So who cares?
Yeah.
But oh well.
Yeah, it's better to kind of go through that awkwardness for 10 seconds rather than think about it for the next 14 days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, nobody got time for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, man, so I think, I guess we'll see how things go, but I'd like to get out for a bear. And even if it's late spring, right? Sometimes that's a better time for us to go out to some of these spots that we like. A bit more access and let these guys fatten up a little bit too. So
yeah, I think it's a little cool. I don't know. It warms up a little bit later too. So
yeah,
what do they call it? Following the green wave.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a whole lot of green out there. Even down below in the valley here, there's not a ton. So
yeah,
I'm
sure. What I was thinking today, it seems pretty dry out there though. Like when's the last time we had any rain?
We haven't, had any rain in a while, which is kind of nice. We've had a lot of sun, but maybe it's coming. I don't know.
Yeah. But lawn's just a big dust pit, so hopefully we get some rain. That'll get things started.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'd imagine within the next 4 weeks we'll probably be out there looking for something, and hopefully by that time maybe some of these things will have changed and we don't have to worry too much about going out there together, but
Yeah.
we'll take it day by
Hopefully.
day. Yeah. Got the rifle back today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It looks
Do
pretty.
you have it with you?
No, I'll bring it down before we finish off here. It's upstairs.
Okay.
The wood looks beautiful, but it still has like all the basically all the warts and scars and everything, that it had. You can still see that it's kind of beat up, which I
Nice.
didn't ever want to lose that, right?
Yeah.
For anybody who's listening, this was supposed to be like a surprise. Ashley, while we were in Vietnam, actually, she arranged for Jesse to bring my rifle in to get it worked on and cleaned up and stuff, because it's something I've been thinking about doing for quite a while. And got a new Leupold scope on there too. But the guy who did it said he didn't want to put a varnish on it, which it originally had, so it was like shiny, right? It had a pretty, I don't know what you'd
It
call it.
was pretty thick varnish.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm going to do that, because that's the only thing that's missing is like that original shine that it had. I think I'll put a coat. Some people say don't do it. Some say do it, because you can. It's easy to damage that finish, but who cares? You can just reapply it. But that's just
Yep.
how it looked originally. So I think that's what we'll do with it. But otherwise, it looks awesome. It's pretty sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And what about the barrel? Did they?
Yeah, they cleaned that all up too. That looks great.
Yeah.
So it's
Cool.
Yeah, she's ready to rock. So actually, you have to go and they bore sighted it. Obviously, said I should be hitting paper, but I'll have to go out here. I might do that tomorrow. And
I have to do the same thing because I got a new scope on mine too.
nice.
It's bore sighted, but I haven't sighted it in yet.
Well, are you keen to go out somewhere and do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think with some social distancing, we should be able to figure it out.
Yeah, because I don't know. Let's talk more about that, because we could go out. There's that one spot over across the bridge. We'll just say that much, that you and I can go to. I like that spot.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
We can
And
do
you can
that.
shoot like over 300 yards if
Yeah.
you want to.
We can bring some Lysol wipes and a table, or last time we were just shooting off the packs, and that was better, right?
Yeah, PAX was good. I actually have shooting bags now.
Oh, nice.
Like there's one larger one that you put in front, and then there's the one with the it looks like a little saddle.
Right.
But you can pack them around pretty easy.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Give that a go.
Big bean bags, basically.
Sweet. Yeah, that'd be good, man. Get out and do that.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of gear, maybe we should talk a little bit about that. Like, what's new? I picked up a few things that I've just with everything going on. I completely forgot that I've had them. I haven't been able to use them.
Oh, yeah. You got a few things now that I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, I picked up that scope. So it's a Swarovski Z3, I believe. It's kind of the more of the entry level one, but it upgraded that. It's a little lighter. So I got my Tikka down to like 7 pounds.
Nice.
Like exactly 7 pounds. So pretty cool to have a nice. I was looking at sheep guns. I think we talked about this actually in the previous episode.
That's right. It's been a while, so do a refresher.
Yeah. I kind of thought about getting a new rifle and building something, and it's just a lot of money. So I did kind of a full circle and ended up right back at the gun I had, which is the Tikka T3 stainless light, short barrel, 30-06, and I put a lighter scope on it, better scope.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it.
Nice.
I bought a Kifaru gun bearer, which was put that on the pack, and I haven't used it yet, but it looks pretty cool. It kind of takes you don't have to have your rifle on your shoulder all the time, and you also don't have to take up a side pocket with it and have it strapped to the side of your pack. Easy access if you need it for hunting, but also if there's a bear hanging around or whatever.
Yeah.
But it kind of keeps the weight right on your hip belt there, so I'm feeling pretty good about that.
I don't know what that looks like. You've explained it, but I haven't actually checked it out. It sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'll put my pack on and send you a picture or something. Or maybe I'll bring my whole pack if we go shooting.
Yeah.
But and then the last thing was a rangefinder. Finally bought a rangefinder. It's been like 6-7 years now. So I picked up a Sig Sauer. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's an 1800 BDX. I mean, 1800. Man, the same discussion with the rifles. Like I was looking at all these calibers, And I ultimately did a full circle right back to the 30-06 because I mean it's not the sexiest thing, but if you're not shooting past 300 yards, then really what else do you need?
Yeah. Yeah, for
And
sure.
the rangefinder kind of comes into that discussion because like what's the reason that you need a rangefinder? And for me, I want to use a rangefinder to figure out how far the animal is, and then if it's 400 or 500 yards, then maybe that's my signal that I have to get 100 yards closer.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, okay, it's 500 yards and now I'm going to aim 30 inches high. Like that's not why I bought the rangefinder.
Yeah.
My other plan was to kind of take the old school approach of sighting in like 2.5 to 3 inches high, because you're kind of anything within 300 yards, you're either going to be 3 inches high or 3 inches low. So you're kind of always just aiming at a center point.
Yeah.
So I was going to move back to that approach too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And Swarovski, even if you don't have a Swarovski scope, if you go on their website, they have some really cool ballistic stuff on there and really cool reticle models. And I don't know, it's just, you can kind of put in a bunch of different settings and kind of see how you can use your reticle as a measuring or a rangefinder with some of those apps.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend folks go on there and play around.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any other new stuff. I don't think anyways, other than the upgrade to the rifle. But
Yep.
Yeah, haven't added anything
Yeah, I'm
else.
pumped to see it.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's
You should post a picture on that on the Instagram.
yeah, well,
that's been pretty.
I was trying to take one here. I'll send it to you. It doesn't really do it justice. You have to see it in person. But here, I'll send this over to you, and you can check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's quite a bit darker, but it looks cool though, man. It really brought out some of the wood. It kind of has that antique look to it. But if you look like on the stock where basically where your hand rests, it's still worn out there, and I guess the guy's saying that that's soaked up just a ton of oil in those areas because they've been exposed for so long, right? So,
right.
But yeah, I sent that
Nice.
over to you. There she is. The only thing I'm not looking forward to about sighting in is now that we're using more expensive ammo. I just hope it goes well.
It will.
Yeah.
Oh man, that looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks good, eh?
That scope looks perfect on there too.
Yeah, it's got the gold ring and it looks pretty badass. So
it's cool because the gun has those. It's not ivory inlays, but it kind of, you know what I mean, like almost like a guitar. It has those white rings.
Yeah, at the like sort of the end of it there, it's got that white. It does kind of look like ivory, but it's not. It looks cool.
Yeah, I just think it ties in with the gold ring.
Yeah, totally.
It's cool. It reminds me of last time I was shooting guns, I was back in the Kootenays, and Randy had pulled out his dad's Husqvarna 270.
Oh yeah.
And we were doing a little research on that thing, and with the serial number, I figured it was a 1958.
Right.
Really cool rifle. Old school wood like yours. And he pulled that thing out. He hadn't shot it in like 20 years, and he just like, 3 or 4 shots, 2 inches high, dead center.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those old rifles.
Yeah, they're pretty reliable, man. I haven't really had any issues with mine, which is why I never want to get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to send a few rounds down her because I haven't shot it since August, since the last shot it took was at a goat.
Right.
Yeah. So
you know what? Just to touch on this COVID thing again.
Yeah.
Doesn't it make you glad that you can hunt and fish now?
Yeah, absolutely. I
got a freezer full of meat, like, bear, goat, deer. There's rabbit in there. There's turkey in there.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of fish still. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I just think it's one of those things where it's a way to learn so many different skills, and sometimes they come in handy, especially in times like this. Like,
absolutely.
If it was hunting season right now for deer, which it isn't, obviously, but we could take down a deer and be good for half a year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty rewarding too, because just the other day we decided to grind up some mule deer. I had some various cuts in there, and then still had some of that pork fat from our pig there, and
Yep.
made burgers the other night, and still have
Oh, nice.
some more grind set aside for meatballs or pasta sauce or whatever we want to do. So it is pretty nice to use this time to make some stuff and do some cooking and try some different recipes, and yeah, trying to make the most of the downtime, man. So
Yep.
it's not all bad, that's for sure.
I was thinking the same thing because you gave me quite a few cuts from your mule deer, and they're still in the freezer. The last one I used was the shanks
Oh,
from the
right.
Osobuco.
Yeah.
And that turned out good. But I was thinking about I really miss having grind, so I was going to try to find some cuts that I could just turn into that, because it's just it's so nice to have that even for like spaghetti or
Yeah.
burgers or anything. Like, I miss having that elk is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because Ashley and I were having the same conversation the other night. It's like, oh man, remember when we had all of that ground elk meat in the freezer? That was incredible.
Yep.
So good.
You know what? I think I still have one cut of elk.
You lucky bastard.
I think I have one backstrap, those backstrap packs?
Yeah.
I think I have one of them, but I was saving it for like a super special occasion.
Nice. Well, here's our
End of the world.
Yeah.
End of the world's probably a good one.
When we come out of this, let's eat that fucker.
Okay, deal.
Nice. I was texting Garrett the other day, and I said we should use this time to start planning our hunt for the fall. And I said I haven't really thought about it yet, but he said he's got a few ideas. You got any ideas for what you might want to do?
I would love to have an elk in the freezer.
That'd be nice.
And just on the gear side of things, I haven't picked this up yet, but I did order some reeds and a bugle tube.
Nice.
And I was going to actually practice how to do that the right, the authentic way, I guess, if that's the correct way to do it. But yeah, man, I'd love to do just a big elk hunt, bring the wall tent out there, do a lot of work and put some miles on, but kind of do a mix of like the wall tent with a lot of backcountry too.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we did in the first elk hunt there.
Right. Where are you thinking you want to go without saying too much?
I was going to apply for the island tags, like the Roosevelt elk, because I think if any of us gets that, we should be taking advantage of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
Especially based on Nolan's story, if you're following Journal Mountain hunting.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing experience. But if not, then I'd love to just go, anywhere west or east Kootenays. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Well, we should start doing some research on that. I'd like to do another goat hunt.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. I've never done one because I missed, obviously, but that'd be cool too. I mean, there's probably spots where we could do both, right?
Probably, yeah.
Depending on the conditions or the area or what we see, maybe. And that's kind of how we played the first elk hunt. Was we kind of switched from elk hunt to a goat hunt a few times.
Yeah.
In that experience, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other things you're thinking of?
I haven't thought a ton about it, to be honest. It just feels like there's a lot of stuff like right in front of me right now. But the one thing that it's just the elk that keeps popping up in my head in terms of having that meat in the freezer. It's so nice, and I think we're lucky to live in BC and be able to hunt elk, and we don't really do it as much as we should. It's cool to focus on goats and sheep and all the things that are special in BC like that too, but they're such like niche hunts.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes they're so attractive and the adventure is so great that we kind of forget about the elk sometimes. And the elk is, I don't know. I mean, if I could only hunt one animal, we've said mule deer a lot, and I think that's because of where we live and the terrain that they're in. But elk are kind of right in that same terrain. And they're a bigger animal and they taste amazing. So they're kind of right up there for me too, even though we've only got one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm all for that one. And who knows, maybe that's what Garrett is thinking too. I'd love to get another big mule deer at some point. Would be cool. So we could, like you said, mix an elk hunt with a mule deer or even whitetail, depending on where we are. Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. It'd be nice to get another deer. Man, if you go back to the year that we got the elk, that's when I got my 4-point mule deer, which was the week before we left. Then you
Yep.
got your white-tailed doe. We got the elk. Man, that's ridiculous.
And then I got my muley triceratops too.
That was the same year too?
I think so.
Well, I think you're right. Yeah.
On that note, I forgot about this, but I would like to get a 4-point muley too.
Yeah.
That's on, that's something we try for every year. And I was close. Like I had four mule deer bucks in one hunt. 2 of them were 3 points. 2 of them were 2 points. And it was 4-point season. So
yeah, of course.
I feel like I'm close. Like I feel like I know where I'm going this September. And I'm going to spend a lot of time there. It's a tough grind, but yeah, I'm hoping you and I can go up there.
Yeah. I don't plan on being anywhere this year. I want to hunt. So
nice.
Yeah, that'd be sweet, man. I think it would be pretty cool if we just packed in the Hilleberg and, still try and keep things pretty light and just stayed up there for a couple nights. Would be pretty.
Yeah, I think we'll find success if we do that. Because,
yeah.
I mean, we do a lot of day hunts and things, but I think if we spent a few days even just hanging out, we're bound to find something if we're in the right zone.
Yeah, it's just those peak hours, man, in the morning and in the evening. I think if you're sitting in the right spot, it makes it tough when you have to hike in and that too, right? If you can just be there well before anybody can hike into a spot or anything like that, right? You're way off the beaten path. You're ready to rock and roll. So, and just wander a little bit from camp during the day and see what you see. But yeah.
Yeah. And it'd be cool to camp up high and kind of come down on them in the morning.
Yeah.
But like once the thermals start coming up, we can kind of go down as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's just being there, not having to do the 2-hour hike up front, just already being there would be awesome.
Yeah.
I've got a couple camping spots picked out for this
Sweet.
spot I was thinking too.
Yeah, I'm stoked to the Hillebergs are right in front of me here actually. So I'm stoked to set those up again and get out there, man. This should be good.
Yep,
cool.
Definitely.
Well, those sound like good plans to me. And like you, I haven't put any more thought into it than that, really. Just the last couple of days starting to get excited about it. So I don't know if you caught this, Kelly, but so anyone who lives in the Okanagan knows where West Side Road is, but basically it's just across the lake from us here in Kelowna. Someone shot a ram over there illegally, obviously.
I heard about that. I just saw Kelowna in the headline, but I didn't know if it was in the park or if it was over across the lake.
No, it was over across the lake. So I guess it was like a gut shot. So this thing was still alive and somebody saw it along the side of the road, I think is what happened, and reported it. And so they obviously had to kill the thing. But nice size ram, some fucking idiot. Just like, who does this stuff, man?
Yeah, brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, they think that because everything's shut down that the conservation officers aren't going to chase them down, or
I guess so. I don't know.
Brutal.
Yeah. If you're hurting for meat, I can give you some rather than shooting a ram.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's somebody that knew what they were doing and knew what they were after, right? So.
Well, yeah, they obviously plan that because they're easy to find and they're not too skittish, right? They're used to being around people, so you could probably walk right up to them and shoot them if you wanted to. But yeah, brutal, man.
Yeah. So what's the point? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, the whole thing about sheep is to make it be one of the hardest things you do in your life, and putting that effort in, and go shoot one on the side of the road that's used to people, like and then what? You put it on your wall and act like it was some major feat.
I don't know. Yeah,
I just don't know how you can live with that.
I don't know, man. The guilt would tear me apart. But I guess, some people. I don't know. I don't know what to say about them. I don't know who does that, man. That's fucked up. But
it's not good.
Anyways, that's kind of a bummer. And what else is in the news? Somebody shot a wolf.
I saw that
on Vancouver Island, which it just gets that whole wolf debate going, and it's annoying because there's a bunch of people that don't understand management.
Yeah, I haven't heard I know it blew up on Twitter, but I haven't followed it too much. But it's kind of like the when there's one of something that's kind of around town a lot, it kind of gets
Yeah.
a celebrity status, and
That's
then
the
a hunter
thing, though.
shot it.
So, as from a hunter's perspective, I think we also have to recognize that, you know, that if that is sort of like the one animal that's around and people kind of know this wolf, shooting it's going to attract a lot of attention, right? So maybe we don't shoot that
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's kind of becomes less about the individual animal at that point, and it becomes more about the overall long-term impact of what that action is.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe the long-term impact of having that wolf around is actually negative too, and something has to be done with it.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I kind of worry, like, how did this come about? Like, did somebody take a picture after they shot it? Because that's something we've talked about a lot, and that just spins things out of control. Or if it was just, somebody similar to this sheep where it just got out.
Mhm.
The regulations, I believe, are open for wolf in that region. So it's not
Yeah,
like
they are.
anything was done illegally. It's just that some people aren't happy that wolf's gone. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like,
But yeah,
one
so
wolf
like I
hanging
say, man,
around town is not a good thing.
No, it's
in
not.
my opinion.
And then yeah, it's just that the shitty side of it is now it's more ammunition for people to say we need to ban the wolf hunt like straight across the board. But then they don't
Yeah.
realize that we're losing our caribou herds because of predators, and yeah, they just
Yeah.
don't see the big picture. All they see is there's some asshole shot a wolf, and yeah.
Yeah. And any animal like that has a name, because that wolf had a name. I can't remember what it was, but
who knows?
you're just asking for it, right? But it's also not right. Like, you shouldn't be naming predators.
No, you shouldn't, man. They're not dogs. That thing will
Yeah.
fucking eat you alive if it wanted to.
Yeah. This isn't a Disney movie. This is, I mean, it's all fun and games until it comes into the backyard and eats
Eat your dog or your cat or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, or worse.
Or worse. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just something that has happened since the beginning of time. Like, we got to be careful around some of these animals.
Yeah.
And they bring a lot of effects to so many different, whether it's livestock or, like you said, other species and populations. So, we've talked a lot about it. We keep coming back to habitat. Actually, it makes me think, have you followed the BCWF, that mule deer project? They have a lot of GPS colored, not diagrams, but animations.
Yeah, I saw one of those the other day. I think I don't know, maybe Jesse had posted it somewhere. I don't remember where I saw it, but yeah.
Was it the doe that got eaten by the cougar within the first 2 years?
Yeah.
But the amount of land they cover when they're actually migrating, and it's kind of like, as soon as a certain month appears, they just take off and they cover so much ground, even in a few days.
Yeah.
It's just, it's pretty cool, man. Like, I like seeing that kind of stuff.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we need to talk to Adam Ford again and get an update on things, because it's been a year since I talked to him. So it'd be cool to see what other interesting things they've found so far from all the data they've been collecting. So
yeah, and I think it's really important to even show the public this stuff, because I saw one that was more, I think, towards Fernie. I think it must have been, I don't know if it's the same project, but anyways, it really highlights how sensitive these animals are to the low-lying valleys, like the winter range.
Yeah.
And you see all these animals, like these little colored lines shooting into all the valleys where the towns are.
Yeah.
And then they're hanging out there for a large portion of the year, and then they start spreading back out into the mountains again.
Mm-hmm.
But with that visual, it kind of makes you think about, where your house is and the impact of all this habitat. I don't know. It's just, I think it's something that shouldn't really be just in the outdoorsman's field, kind of like to look at this stuff. It should actually be more public, and people need to understand what they're doing in these winter ranges in terms of habitat.
Yeah. And yeah, it's all fine and dandy to have an opinion, but understand the bigger picture is more important, especially when you're talking about predators and stuff like that. And yeah. And where your house is a key thing, because nobody's immune to, having an effect on wildlife. So
exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know if we'll ever get there with people. But
yeah, it's like we said, it's an education piece. It's unfortunate that there isn't a little more in the school system about just, BC ecosystem species interactions kind of. I mean, I kind of feel like we should be tackling a little bit of this there.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if a lot of educators know this, but there are grants available through HCTF to do programs in schools. So if people
Mhm.
want to get their students involved and teach them more about conservation, they can apply for funds through them, which is pretty cool. Because
Yeah.
it's that stuff sticks with kids, man. I remember doing some stuff like that in elementary school. We did like some survival stuff and that we went up in the mountains and built shelters and kind of learned about how to build a fire and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Pretty powerful, man, because I remember it pretty clearly. So you
Yep.
got to get kids out there and teach them this shit when they're young, because that's when it has the biggest impact on them.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm a scientist, but even with this COVID thing and with a lot of viruses that pop up, it's some of it has to do with habitat management and animals. So I think I heard, is that Contagion, the end of that movie where it's kind of like they're like destroying the forest, but there's also livestock nearby in like a tropical country. So
Hmm.
as they're doing this land management, they're kind of like knocking all these bats out of their habitat, and then they're,
Oh,
it's I don't know. I haven't not gonna pretend I know what I'm talking about here, but I think that ultimately it comes down to like habitat and animals and kind of how we're interacting with them across the world, and some of this stuff could spill over into viruses and stuff too. So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, for
I
sure,
just
man.
don't think it's that far of a reach from what we're talking about in BC in terms of keeping our habitats and ecosystems healthy. It's kind of it has big impacts, and I think people are just focused on what's in front of them, and
Yeah.
working and making cash and paying the bills and doing what they like to do. And there's kind of this whole world of of animals and habitat around us that we can't forget about.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was up in the Yukon in Old Crow there, where I saw the porcupine herd, if you want to really get a feel for what's happening with climate change, man, go up in the north, and
Hmm.
things are changing big time up there. And all you have to do is talk to the residents about what's happening, and it's kind of scary, man. And I think all that stuff, all these diseases and all that stuff, it's all tied in to a changing climate, man. And I think we're going to see more of this type of stuff, right? Think about
Yeah.
chronic wasting disease and all these different things. I think
Hmm.
it's all related to some degree. And one of the interesting things was, so that porcupine herd is doing really well, but the guide I was with, he was saying that because they're like the summer season is longer now, like you get a week on either end, that
Hmm.
allows all the brush to grow quite a bit more than it has in previous years. So he said over the last 2 years, they could usually like basically predict when the caribou would show up and the migration route that they would be using. But
Hmm.
now, because there's all this brush and shit, they've had to change their migration route. So now these caribou are showing up to where they usually hunt them in October. Sometimes they're not showing up until November now because the migration route is changing, which is pretty wild, man. So
Yep.
yeah, these caribou are coming through and expecting to use the same route that they've always used, but they can't get through, so they have to find alternate routes, which takes them longer to get to where they need to go, and it's pretty wild,
Hmm.
man. And we were
Yep.
dog sledding on the river, and he was showing us where just the erosion from raising rivers, because they get these faster melts and stuff up there in the spring, and all the banks are caving in, the trees are collapsing down into the river valley. It's pretty wild, man. So
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot more change, I think,
yeah, definitely. But
which makes it even more important to talk about these things.
yeah, for sure. It's kind of a classic Rookie Hunter ending, isn't it?
Well, if you lasted this long.
That's what you get. Yeah. Any
Yeah.
positive things we could end this thing on, Kel?
I don't know. I mean, I think we're healthy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's positive, but I mean, it's positive, but it's still
Yeah, we're alive. I guess that's a good thing, eh?
yeah, that's about as, I mean, I'm okay with throwing away a week or 2 or 4, or just staying at home and taking it easy. It's not the worst thing.
No.
So I know a lot of folks are kind of fidgety and they want to get out there, and that's, as long as you're careful, that's fine. But I think at the end of the day, the more we do to kind of sacrifice a couple months, hopefully we'll all be back and rolling soon.
Yeah. Don't want to jeopardize hunting season.
I know, exactly. And the more we kind of, don't put in that solid effort, I feel like this is just going to go on for a long time. So
you been doing any training or anything from home?
Yeah, I'm just doing some rowing. I just did 10,000 meters today.
Nice.
And my plan is to kind of do that every couple of days.
Yeah.
When I started rowing, I just, it's like running. You can walk, you can jog, or you can sprint, and that's like a rowing machine. There's no settings. You just go as fast as you want. But I got a heart rate monitor, so I try to keep it in a certain range, and then I can keep going for like 10,000 meters and burn, over 500 calories. So
yeah,
I figure if I do that every couple of days, it's a pretty good exercise. And then, I've got my Bowflex weights here, so doing some deadlifts and just trying to get my legs stronger, and just focusing on those 2 things really.
Sweet.
How about you?
Yeah, I've been running like a madman lately. That's kind of keeping me sane, which is good. Yeah, I'm making progress with it too. I signed up to do a half marathon in June. I think it's June 28th or June 27th or something like that. Who knows if it's going to happen? But I'm just going to keep training for it. Who knows if it might get canceled. I was supposed to do a race on April 5th, the 10K, but that's obviously not happening. But I'm just going to keep training for these as if they are anyways. And we sort of set up the garage with all the weights and the bench down here and yoga mat, because lots of people are offering, like the yoga studio that I go to, they're doing everything online now, so you can do it at home. It's not as good as being in the hot studio, but still good to be doing it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. And then, just hiking with the dog every morning. I'll probably start putting the pack on just to get some weight on me. And I don't know. So I've got nothing else to do. So
awesome.
Yeah. Making it easy.
Yeah. Do what you can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to keep exercising in times like these when you're stuck in your house, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no excuse if you're stuck in your house and you've got, you've got some equipment there, or if you just, go outside for a walk or hike or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to keep her going, because when the world starts up again and we can do these things, you don't want to be 20 pounds heavier.
Yeah, exactly. Which is easy because, man, it's like you get bored. You're like, eat something. Which
maybe I'll cook this, which I never have time to cook.
Yeah. Easy. Yeah. So it's kind of 3 outcomes here. I'll either be in really good shape, or I'll be overweight, a fat slob, and an alcoholic. These are all 3 possibilities. But maybe they're offsetting each other somehow, and I'll just come out neutral. It's been making like margaritas and all these different cocktails every day, just learning how to make different drinks. And it's a bit of a problem.
You got to set a baseline.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cool,
man. Well, I think I don't really have anything else, but
no, man. We'll come up with some topics for I don't know, next week or something.
Yep.
Got to fill the time. Maybe we'll reach out to you folks listening out there on Instagram, or send us an email, man. If you guys have been wondering what the hell we've been doing, if you want to sort of get engaged with the show and send us some questions or send us some shit to read or whatever, it'd be nice to hear from you guys again. And get you involved in the show, because it helps us to have some material to work with too. This is that kind of the weird off-season part, right? Where there's not a ton of stuff to talk about, but
yeah,
I'm sure we can fill an hour here and there. So anyways, shall we leave it at that?
I think so.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
Cool.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
This episode of Rookie Hunter was brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Sitka Gear, and North Arm Knives. As always, it is hosted by Kelly Mullner and myself, Mike Peterson. It is recorded, edited, and produced at Mountain Stream Audio Productions in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. Original music written by the one and only Kelly Molnar with help from Graham Ord, Darcy Booth, and Chip Sleedermean. If you want to help us out, there's one thing you can do. You can go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And don't forget to subscribe. For more on the show, head over to our website, therookiehunter.com.